Welcome to W3 MCT. My name is Peter Simon Petroni, and I'm a founder. I'm here to provide a solution to a problem you don't know you have yet. So stick around, and we're going to go over why you should start focusing on owning your AI intelligence. Today, sovereign AI. Why businesses should own intelligence. This is the business case for owning your AI infrastructure, the W3 MCT node. So, the hook. What's going on? In businesses today, they're paying for SaaS. SaaS is software as a service. And every month, you have a bill. You have all of these different applications, 1, 3, 4, right? All of these different tools that you use, and they're important. I get it. Super important. But the thing about it is, those tools cost money. And it's a recurring cost every single month, whether you use it to its full potential or not. Right? And a lot of times these tools are providing you all of these amazing features, by the way. I'm a software engineer, right? I understand. We make features like crazy, even when our customers don't need it. But we see something that they're going to need in the future that they don't know just yet. So we think about that while we're building. And a lot of times you'll see a lot of tools add a lot of different features, right? Salesforce is one example. But the thing about this, as we go into the future, as we continue to progress more down AI, we really have to have this conversation. It's an important conversation. And it really comes down to, is it still advantageous to continue renting and paying for software as a service every single month? Or is it going to be more advantageous and honestly, on your ROI related to your OpEx versus your CapEx on owning your intelligence? So you're a CEO. Do you rent yourself out? Are you renting your intelligence out? You got to stop renting that corporate brain. I mean, in 2025, enterprises will spend about 3 times more on AI technology than other people operate in it. This is 2026 now. This was essentially a prediction quote. Are you seeing enterprises spend 3 times more on AI technology than on the people operating it? I think so. Maybe even more. So what's happening? Why is there a problem? Well, one of the biggest issues is the shadow AI crisis. What does that mean? We're going to get into it. Your data is being leaked. Yeah, I know. All right. Before we get into all the blah, 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 right? Let's just have a quick conversation about this. Your data is being leaked, right? You think about this scenario. You're at home, you're having a conversation with your family, your friends, or your coworkers, or you're out about. Then you go, I'm going to take out my phone and I'm going to scroll on Facebook or IG, whatever kind of feed, YouTube. And the next thing you know, you see an advertisement and you're like, whoa, this is exactly what we were just talking about. And now they're showing me an advertisement related to that category. These are the products that they suggest. So you say, how do they do that, right? So across the globe, there are businesses that buy data. And there's businesses that sell your data. So where do they get this data from? Well, anytime you interact online, just like me making this video right now, and I'm going to post it on YouTube as I make these videos for the community and for our members and for my clients to understand how to stay ahead in AI. And so I know this information will go out there, right? And the goal of creating this video is specifically that this will be leaked, essentially. And I'm putting that in quotes, right? It will be leaked, right? Because I want this information out online. And so, but what people may not understand, I am purposefully doing this. But what happens if you're just at home and you're just scrolling, right? You click here, you click there, you watch this, you watch that, you do this, you do that, right? You buy this, you buy that. All of those different interactions are being tracked. And all of those different interactions and transactions creates a customer profile. And that's super, super valuable. And that's from the consumer perspective. But you're not a consumer, you're a business owner. I'm a solopreneur or I run a Fortune 500, whatever level that you're on. The thing about this is you don't want your business data out there. And the reality, 75% of global knowledge workers now use AI, but most do so without their IT approval. I know, IT guy, hey, we know. No one likes to deal with the IT guy sometimes, right? But at the end of the day, this is serious though. The knowledge of how you interact, the problems your employees are having, they could be talking about anything on GPT, right? And from my research, and just actual local conversations with, on the ground, research and investigation essentially is that like most people are using AI as a therapist, which, by the way, I was actually surprised at that. And I'm not talking about a little bit, I'm talking about let's just say, out of the 10 people I asked about AI, they all knew ChatGPT, which was cool, right? 100% everyone knew, and these are non-business owners. Two of them were business owners. The rest were just local community members of my church and previous co-workers and things like that. And every so often we try to get together, have a conversation, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna be the guy. I do this for work, and I'm really interested to know how many of you guys are actually using AI, right? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I got it on my phone, or I downloaded the app. I go to it all the time. Fantastic. What are you using it on? Oh, you know what? I'm going through a breakup right now, and I asked ChatGPT about it. What? Oh, I got this mark on my neck, on my skin. I don't know where it came from. Asked ChatGPT about it. Health. Oh, I'm concerned about my kids being on YouTube too much, right? And watching videos that they're not supposed to, right? And trying to understand ChatGPT about this, right? Oh, I'm a parent and I have to coach for, blah, 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 blah to do volunteer, right? I need some pointers, information. ChatGPT about it. These are all personal things, okay? And they may seem irrelevant to businesses, but I just want you to get the understanding that people were using this tool more for themselves rather than as a tool to be either more productive or make more money. And I can say maybe if people use this tool to work on themselves, they will in turn become more productive because they're receiving solutions instantly, like to problems that they have. But at the same time, that data is on the cloud, and all of that collective information is being curated somewhere by someone. And so that data provides a risk. And the risk, at least from a business perspective and on a personal perspective as well, is that, 20% of these global organizations suffered a data breach in the last year, specifically due to a shadow AI. Right? We have to really use this tool effectively, but we also have to be conscientious as to what are we asking, and can this ask identify or not identify, or will it provide more personal identifiable information related to myself or anyone around me related to this. Most people say, oh, probably, I don't really care, I need the help, I need the whatever, okay? But for a business owner, you may not want your business data out there, you may not want your clients' data out there. And the leaders are in the space of corporations, right? Some of the top ones like Apple, Samsung, JP Morgan, Northrop Grumman. I just know are the Secretary of War. They were just talking about how they don't want the government using Anthropic, okay? And they don't really want anyone using these outside tools because there's more risk and higher vulnerability, and that weighs way more than the increase in productivity per employee from a government perspective. And I understand that. But the way the government can provide a solution is really quite simple. It's really to just set up their own infrastructure and own their intelligence. And not only can the government do this, but you can do this as a business owner, whether you're a startup or you are a Fortune 500 on the stock exchange, okay, a public company. And we're going to go over how you can do that right now. So the lesson of this slide is that if it's on their cloud, it's not your secret. And so this brings us into the subscription trap, and really if it's worth the change, because we're going to go over the OpEx versus the CapEx. And in the beginning, when GPT came out through OpenAI, right, everyone was super excited and they were using this tool and they were really, really excited and it was working to their advantage. And then, but they realized, well, hey, I can ask it like some personal things or therapist things or whatever, and it maybe give me something that can be helpful, but a lot of that information was either old or not accurate. It didn't seem like it was working. It was like AI hallucination. It was like everyone was trying to paint the bad picture of it. But what they didn't really tell anybody was that, well, if you had the free version, you weren't receiving real-time data. You were actually receiving information from 2 to 3 years prior. And so if you needed to use real-time data for your analysis, or even just to have like a real-time data on health or questions related to strategy on sports or personal, like just whatever it is that you were asking, you needed to pay for a plan. And some tools in the beginning, it was pay for this plan and you can use it as much as you want. And then they implemented the credits. And then the credits made it so that, all right, well, now we need to be a little bit more conscientious of what we're doing. So now a lot of these AI agents that are available right now are all on this credit system. But the thing about the credits or the token is the token tax. And the token tax is killing your margins. And if it's not, because you haven't implemented it yet, then you are ahead of the game. And this might be something you should take into consideration if you haven't, when it comes to integrating and implementing AI into your business. So when it comes to software as a service, right, and the OpEx, right, the cost of SaaS, we're going to see exponential cost growth. Why is that? Well, because as we continue to add more tools, a lot of the thing was that, well, hey, I got Salesforce and I'm using Databricks, or I'm using, I don't know, LinkedIn Navigator. Now I'm using LinkedIn Hire, or I'm using ZipRecruiter for that, or whatever, right? You know, there's a lot of different kinds of tools. We're not going to name them, and I named those ones just because they're the top of my head. That has nothing to do with anything, right? And so, but the advantage, at least for that perspective, is really quite simple. I get this tool, it gives me this application that I have access to that provides these features that I can then use for my business to do X, Y, Z. Cool. Thumbs up. That's awesome. However, agent tools and AI agent applications are an entirely different monster. And this is why businesses will need to focus on OpEx when it comes to implementing AI agents into their business, and why owning your intelligence might be the better route. And so when it comes to the SaaS model that's currently in place right now across the marketplace, SaaS stands for software as a service. If you have an AI agent, right, you're going to pay for every question. You're going to pay for every email that it analyzes. You're going to pay for every thought. So the margins for the software as a service providers are 80%, and you're paying for their profit. And as we continue to grow, the math behind that doesn't seem to add up because of this one thing. Whatever the cost may be, and let's just say, for example, right, you're using an AI agent through a cloud service, which is awesome. All right, and you're paying premium per user per month. Let's $20 or $10 per user per month, plus the API cost. So the API, right? For anyone that doesn't know, API is just, I'm not going to go into the terminology, but it gives you access, right, to other applications and on the back end that they can talk and share data with, okay? And so you need to have an AI agent and then connect it to the API. The API connects it to your tool or your application. Now, the problem, this in our example scenario, $20 a user per month plus API cost equals unpredictable and scaling costs. And that is why we will see OpEx exponentially go up. Because unless you put a restrictive credit amount, which they have that feature, okay, on your AI agent to say, well, you're only allowed to use, let's arbitrary numbers, okay? And I know whatever. Let's just say each employee only gets 100 credits or something like that, right? But let's just say that employee has 100 credits, but doesn't use the prompt correctly. Who knows? Or maybe they use all 100 credits and that's for the month and it's day 2 out of day 30 because they happen to go ham the last 2 days. So essentially they can be like, well, I can't use my AI. I don't have any more credits. Oh, well, what'd you make it do? Oh, I had to do these things that are helpful but not really productive. And so then you run into that issue, right? Oh, well, you can cap your employee on how often they can use AI, which then kind of is counterintuitive and counterproductive because if the whole point of implementing and spending the money on AI is so they can be more productive, giving them a cap of how to communicate is, well, I guess that goes into you need to have a strategic training workshop to make sure people are actually using those 100 credits effectively, which is why at W3 MCT we provide workshops like that and understanding how to interact with AI more effectively so you don't run into lack of credit or worry about the token tax. But we also have another solution, and this solution is by far the best solution right now in the marketplace. And at W3, we call it the W3 MCT node model. And it's really quite simple. You buy the hardware once, cap X. We spend the money, cap X, one time cost. On the hardware, we implement the AI agent, we run the LLMs on there, and it's $0 a month forever. So what does that look like? So the solution, the W3 MCT node, AI in a box, 100% private, 100% yours. How do we do this? Well, we're going to use hardware, the M2, M3, Mac Mini, Mac Studio, right? These beasts will live in your office. Not only are they sleek, we can get custom designs and stickers to match your company branding, but they're quiet. They're small, form-fitting, and it can go right on any desk in the corner. And so that AI node belongs to you. And because it belongs to you, you can provide it the local files. You can give it access to the local CRM. You can give it access to the private email because it's not connected to the internet cloud. So you don't need to worry about security because your client's data never leaves the building. You don't have to worry about internet costs, internet latency, because you'll have instant processing with having your own W3 MCT AI agent node. And yes, you may say, well, why am I picking the Mac Studio? We're picking the Mac Studio or the M2, M3, or Mac Mini because of their unified memory. In our next workshop, we're going to go into more details about the hardware and the difference of building a PC for this or using an AI Mac Studio. And I'm telling you, too long didn't read, right? TLDR, the Mac Studio is number 1. And I'm not saying that with a whole bunch of hype because honestly, man, freaking Apple, excuse me, but Apple finds their way to get back in the game. And if this isn't a way to get back in the game to compete with NVIDIA, man, I don't know what is. Because if you haven't heard it yet, and I haven't shared this with anybody, I actually just have this thought right now as we're going through this. People are looking at Apple for their next amazing like design for, stock price and all the other stuff, revenue and everything. But I have a feeling this is going to be the hidden gem that Apple already has that provides it like the most profit margin, or and generates the most revenue for the company. That's my prediction. I have no idea what the numbers are. I will look at it in the future, but I am saying that right now, because of this solution alone, this will be, let's just say it will help the books when it comes to Apple because they were falling off. All right. And so now, will it hurt NVIDIA? Not a chance. Okay. Two different behemoths doing two different fights. But one behemoth was, getting a little low. Right? Apple was falling behind. Apple was getting behind the curve, but new technology, innovation came out, and their product right now is king. And so, what do you do with this new W3 MCT node? Well, what we do is once we get the hardware, we're going to set it up using the OpenClaw agent framework. We can use OpenClaw because OpenClaw is useful. You can really just provide it, hey, this is your knowledge, skills, and abilities. I want you to interact. This is your name. These are your skill sets. This is your job description. Here's our business calendar. This is when we have our meetings. This is about our company structure. This is about our company vision, our mission statement, all these things, right? And then so it's being trained just like a new employee. When you're onboarding a new employee, you're going to be onboarding your AI agent. And so now, then everyone in the workforce can now interact with that one AI agent through the Slack channel or iMessage or however way we can set up communication. And so the digital worker, is there an ROI on this, right? What is the return on investment? Well, the one thing you need to think about is that, well, all right, an AI agent, we already know, doesn't need to take a nap. At least from my perspective, I don't know. Because it's a Mac machine, Mac Studio, and it has an SSD, there is a timer on that machine of when it will need to be replaced. But we're talking about 7 to 10 years. Okay, maybe shorter, maybe longer, but I would say about 7 years max, right? If you want to be, bang, 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 right? Top of the line, right? Maybe 3 to 5 years, you might switch out for a new, maybe, for new hardware because they upgraded some things on it, right? Other than that, that doesn't mean you need to create an entire new AI agent. You can just buy another one and add it or just replace it and then boom, move it. And it's just a one-time cost on a hardware, CapEx, okay? It's not gonna be a continuation. The only continuational cost of this would be anyone that would help you manage it, right? So at W3 MCT, we will provide a small management fee if you'd like for additional support management or anything like that and going through that process. However, you can still set it up as well if you want 100% ownership over everything and control. So salespeople spend about 71% of their time on non-selling tasks, right? Data entry, admin, and that can just be handled by now this new W3 MCT node, and it can handle all of it because regular human SDR at 40 hours a week, roughly about $60,000 a year. Well, you can spend one-time setup fee to get 168 hours a week from a sales agent or an SDR. And that AI agents from multiple sources have told us that it will increase productivity by 30% in routine tasks immediately upon deployment. And so that is the end of the AI agent section. This part is completely optional and it is not set up during our implementation phases for you. This is specifically a requested addition, or down the line, let's have a thought exercise of what else is capable with an AI agent, right? And when we implement Web3, this AI agent won't only be able to talk, but it can also transact. You can have an agent that can pay the bills, right? You can have an AI agent that has a self-custody wallet that allows you to auto pay freelancers when work is verified. You can collect client payments instantly with 0% chargebacks. You can manage corporate treasury without a bank login, right? And the security, you can have a multi-sig protection where the agent just prepares the transaction, but you have to sign it. So there's more that can be done with this AI agent, and why owning your intelligence is really the best way to integrate AI into your business in 2026. What is the offer? I'm asking you to think about securing your sovereignty. We don't just send you a login, we come to your office, we have a conversation, we install the node and train it on your business. We can get things done, set up, tier 1 remote setup, tier 2 the black box hardware included. And the next step, well, all you have to do is comment below node or head on over to w3mct.com and click on get free consultation. The free consultation is just a conversation with me so we can share our knowledge, skills, and abilities, and to see if maybe what I have to offer can align with what you need help with. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed our Sovereign AI Stop Renting Intelligence workshop. I'm Peter Simon Petroni. I'm the founder of W3MCT, and I'm here to provide a solution to a problem you don't know you have yet.